but already I have to say it's kicked off. I mean, all the sort of goodness of Happy New Year, the hangover's over, but the rows have started, folks, big time. No messing at all. Quite extraordinary because, first of all, you may have spotted over the festive period that Nigel had a little bit of a dispute with the Home Secretary, James Cleverly, about what the reason for the lack of boats crossing the English Channel over December and the festive period. Nigel was very, very clear in his tweet, no nonsense, no messing, that it was thanks to the weather. But the Home Secretary, James Cleverly, he pushed back this morning on breakfast television saying this. Just take a look at this.
Government is claiming credit for the fact that the number of migrants crossing the Channel in small boats has fallen by a third in the last year. If you're going to claim credit for the drop in numbers, will you accept responsibility if the numbers go back up again as maybe the weather improves in the weeks ahead?
So this has nothing to do with the weather. I mean, I know this is a convenient way of overlooking the incredible hard work that our officials have done with their colleagues across Europe. This is not about the weather. There were 102 good sailing days this year, 106 sailing days last year. So the weather is not a contributory factor.
So there we are. That's the Home Secretary saying the weather's not a contributing factor. I have to say, he clearly was nowhere near the coast over the last few weeks because it's been absolutely unbelievable. We should try and count up the number of named storms in the UK on the coasts in the last few weeks. I mean, it's just off the dial. We've got Storm Henk at the moment, not a prospect of any boats crossing the Channel. That was round number one. We were only a day in. Round number two came when the Home Office revealed their latest asylum seeker statistics regarding the backlog. Came out at 9:30 this morning, and they proudly stated that when the Prime Minister at the beginning of last year, actually December 22, he said he was going to get rid of the legacy backlog, whatever that means. He'd get rid of that by the end of 2023. And according to the Home Office, they've achieved it. They've got rid of this backlog of some 92,000 claims that was there before the 28th of June 2022. And that they've processed 112,000 claims, including 25,000 newer claims after that. But then when you dig into it, it turns out it's not quite the same because actually the new backlog, I hope you're keeping up, folks, you've got the legacy backlog and the new backlog. To you and I, it's just a backlog. What's the number? Well, the new backlog is conveniently at 99,000. So we had an old backlog. They say they've dealt with it, but we've got a new backlog that's broadly the same number. Unbelievable. The truth is, there's a backlog. It's give or take 100,000, and they don't seem to be making any progress to get through it. Oh, and by the way, in the backlog they claim to have got down, it transpires that they've accepted 67% of all applications. I might just remind you that back in 2004, the acceptance rate was less than 15%. They're proud that it's 67%. It was up at 75%. So this is the state of the nation. Oh, they've also lost. They've lost 17,000. No idea where they are. There's another bunch we can't work out. It's so impossible. I actually need an expert